Today we're going to talk about imperialism and what imperialism is. So, first, with the background information about imperialism, we're going to talk about Britain and the other Western powers, pretty much all European powers who built overseas empires. They did this because of industrialization and growth of science and technology. We're going to talk about that in more detail next lesson when we talk about the scientific revolution and the industrial revolution. But if you look here on the left, you can see areas in the 1700s where the Europeans started to imperialize in South America, Central and North America, and around Africa and India. Oh, and if you see in the Pacific Ocean, right above Australia, a lot of imperialism occurred around there. So we're going to talk about the motives of imperialism. The first motive of imperialism is economic interest. Countries imperialized in order to help their economy. The Industrial Revolution created the need that made overseas expansion necessary. These manufacturers wanted to access these natural resources from other countries, such as rubber and petroleum, like gas, or magnesia for steel. And they wanted to expand these markets around the globe. Also, they wanted the sugar and silver that we saw today in the documents. Sugar and silver were very valuable, and other regions around the world had them, and they wanted to get that. The second motive for imperialism is the political and military interests. Steam-powered merchant ships and naval vessels needed bases around the world so that they could have a faster reaction time if war or invasion had to happen. Nationalism also played a role in this. Remember, nationalism is extreme pride in your country. So this played a role because as countries started to expand their political and military power, they became more powerful, and so this created a competition between countries. The third motive for imperialism is the humanitarian and religious goals, and that's putting it nicely. We saw this a lot with the Age of Exploration, the idea of God as a cause of exploration. We see that continued through imperialism. Many Westerners felt the need to civilize. What we're going to see down here, we're going to see that a lot, civilize the savage people. And what we're going to see is Europeans began to think that they're better than other people and think that their culture, their society are better than those in the Americas or in Africa or in India, and start to spread their religion and their civilization. Actually, in a good way, they do spread medicine and law, which do help the native people. Now, point number 3 of spreading humanitarian and religious purposes continued is this idea of racial superiority. Many Westerners, and when we say Westerners, again, we mean Europeans, embrace the scientific sounding ideas of social Darwinism. Now, Darwinism is the idea that people developed from apes or monkeys, as seen in this image on the left, and social Darwinism is the idea of natural selection or survival of the fittest, and they applied it to race. They think that some races are naturally, that nature has made some races better than others, which is like the definition of racism. And in that case, those superior races have the right to rule. And so they're going to use that as a excuse to take over and conquer other people. Finally, how did the Europeans dominate the world? What allowed Europeans to take control? They had improved weapons. We're going to see the development of the machine gun, metal ships, exploding shells, which are like bombs. The industrialized societies have a lot of money, which equals power, and they have centralized governments, which will make it more effective for them to conquer and control other lands. Here are the forms of control. We're going to talk about these more in class. Thank you. Bye.